Well, we're in Ecclesiastes, and for the last time we've come to the end. We're in the final chapter now, chapter 12. So let's begin by reading from the NIV. Chapter 12, starting at verse 1. Remember your Creator in the days of your youth, before the days of trouble come, and the years approach when you will say, I find no pleasure in them, before the sun and light and the moon and the stars grow dark, and the clouds return after the rain, when the keepers of the house tremble and the strong men stoop, when the grinders cease because they are few, and those looking through the windows grow dim, when the doors to the street are closed and the sound of grinding fades, and the people rise up at the sound of birds, all their songs grow faint, when people are afraid of heights and of dangers in the streets, when the almond tree blossoms and the grasshopper drags itself along, and desire no longer is stirred. Then people go to their eternal home, and mourners go before the streets. Remember him before the silver cord is severed, and the golden bowl is broken, before the pitcher is shattered at the spring, and the wheel broken at the well. And the dust returns to the ground it came from, and the spirit returns to God who gave it. Meaningless, meaningless, says the teacher. Everything is meaningless. Not only was the teacher wise, but also he imparted knowledge to the people. He pondered and searched out and set in order many proverbs. The teacher searched to find just the right words, and what he wrote was upright and true. The words of the wise are like goads, and their collected sayings like firmly embedded nails, given by one shepherd. Be warned, my son, of anything in addition to them. Of many books there is no end, and much study wearies the body. Now all has been heard. Here is the conclusion of the matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the duty of all mankind. For God will bring every deed into judgment, including every hidden thing, whether it is good or evil. So here we are, the writer is bringing the matter to a conclusion. And we might be tempted at times to think, well, he's very pessimistic. But that's not the case. It actually starts, remember your Creator in the days of your youth, before the days of trouble come. And get this phrase later on, everything is meaningless, meaningless, meaningless. As I said before, the commentator Ortland says meaningless is a bad translation of the word, of the Hebrew word. Far better word is fleeting or temporary. Everything is temporary. And that's come through in various ways. One, we will all die one day. Well, one day we will not be here. And people we love, one day they will not be here. My mum died just over a year ago, and I used to go. She used to live in Burnley until she came up to live with us for a time. And I would go down roughly every 3 or 4 weeks on the train, and people thought, "Oh, you're doing well." I enjoyed going down to see my mum, but also I knew there would come a time when I would not be able to directly love mum. Of course, I miss her. And I'm appreciative of the time that what mum brought into my life, of the gift from God that she was to us. But there'll come a time when you cannot love people anymore because they will be dead. So we should make the most of every opportunity. That's one of the lessons coming through in Ecclesiastes. And it says, look, sometimes the wicked get what the righteous deserve, and the righteous get what the wicked deserve. Do not live life out of a grudge. If you do, you're a fool. You sap life from yourself if you do that, and you sap life from other people. We should aim to be people who are a blessing to others. Because everything will change. That's what we get in this chapter 12. It says, before the sun and light and the moon and stars go dark, and people are afraid of heights, things will come to an end. So while they're here, make use of the moment that you're in. It says, not only was the teacher wise, but he also imparted knowledge to the people. He pondered and searched out these things. The teacher has not been afraid to confront reality. Sometimes things do not seem to be fair, and most of all, every day, one of us. We will all die one day, but none of us know when, or very few of us know when, but we know that we will. And in this coming year, I guess many of us will lose someone. It might even be the end of our last year of our own lives. We do not know. It says face up to that fact. We need to face up to the reality of that. And it says, fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the duty of all mankind, because God will bring everything into judgment. So we are to live life knowing that God is God and that he is the judge of all, including you and me. So say the whole essence of the book is facing up to the reality of life and living how we should live in the light of that reality. That, in a sense, is to make the most of every opportunity. In fact, Paul says in which letter it is, to make the most of every opportunity for the days of evil. Something like that. I can't remember exactly where he says it now. If you look it up, you search for it, you'll find out where it is. We should make the most of every opportunity, for today is the only day that we have, that we are certain that we've got. We don't know we've got. We don't even know we've got tomorrow. We probably have, but we don't know for certain. One day there will be no more tomorrow. So live today. Live in the light of God. And after this, so we've come to the end of Ecclesiastes. I think we've gone to Colossians after this. It's in some ways a simpler book, or a more positive book in a simpler way. But that's what we'll be starting on next. Anyway, if you've gone through all of these wee talks on Colossians, well done. Thank you very much. Hope you've found it useful. The Word of God is always good for instruction and training in righteousness. Amen.